we've mentioned before that the grammar has been likened to a computer program, and that it has operations which also echo or presage a number of computer mechanisms, computer science mechanisms, such as, even before we get to Ashtadhyayi proper, the Akshara Samamnaya, making use of certain consonants and one nasalized vowel to create pratyahara, and the fact that these letters, when they do this and they get the name it, then disappear after they've done their special work in the grammar. Also, we've seen the use of t preceding or following a vowel to define its length. Now we are going to see how the order of the sutras in Ashtadhyayi plays a crucial role in the mechanism of the grammar and permits many words or phrases to be understood as occurring without repeating them. This is called adhyahara. So we're going to see this, how this works right now. So 111 vritti radayich vrittihi at ayich ateng gunaha 112 at eng gunaha. Now, in terms of artificial or special uses, virtually none of these sounds are words of Sanskrit. Certainly there is a Sanskrit sound formation, a shabda vritihi, in regular usage, but that means increase or swelling or increase interest on a loan and so on. But vritihi in the grammar has just one definition, that's at ayich. Obviously, at and ayich also do not exist except in the grammar. Similarly, adeng gunaha, at eng gunaha. Gunaha is a sound formation, shabda, in the ordinary language with many meanings and implications, qualities, and so on, none of which are relevant to the grammar, where it has one meaning, which is adeng. At eng, and again, at and eng don't exist except in the grammar. And in fact, at, even without the halantyam t, the hrasva a in the grammar does not exist in the outside world. And we will not see a hrasva a that does exist as it is in the outside world until the very, very last sutra and indeed syllable of the grammar. Well, having said that, we get to the next sutra, 113, which is 34th in the Siddhanta Comedy. I mention this again because it becomes important in understanding what the, I guess as a physician, the risks and benefits of Siddhanta Comedy ordering are. And this is very explicit now because the third sutra, Iko Gunavritti, can't be understood outside of the order of this first three sutras already. So, Padaparta, Ikaha, which is Shashti or genitive of ik. Gunavritti, which doesn't get further divided because it's a compound. Now, the first big new term, concept that I put in red is anuvrittihi. That's the bringing down into a current sutra of elements that occurred in previous sutras. Now, these may be in the immediately preceding, or sometimes they literally leapfrog into the sutra from earlier sutras. So in this case, the anuvrittihi is gunaha and vrittihi. Gunaha and vrittihi. Vrittihi coming from the first sutra, vrittiradayich, and gunaha from the second. Now, where does this anuvritti come from? Well, it comes from tradition. It may be that originally Panini pronounced it in some special way with a nasalized vowel or something like that. I'm not sure. But by the time of the big commentaries, such as Mahabhashya and so on, this had been lost. So it has become something that has to be passed down and is subject to more variation than the sutras themselves. So then the next new concept, adhyaharaha, is the introduction of additional language which is not connote meaning. It's there just by implication to help us flesh out the sutra's full meaning. So in this case, the adhyaharaha. Now, this is subject to even more variation than anuvrittihi. So in both cases, I'm going with what Prabhakara Shastri taught me, occasionally augmenting that with something I may have seen in commentary and so on, but I'll try to mention that if I do. So adhyaharaha here is iti yatra vidiyete tatra asti. Iti yatra vidiyete tatra asti. Now, I'm going to combine all of these into one phrase and then come back next time with the translation and samples, because it's a lot to take in at once. So the full sutra, yatra, which I've put in black because that's part of the adhyaharaha, gunaha vrittihi, which are the elements of the anuvrittihi, which are considered now part of this sutra. Then more adhyaharaha, iti, and then the actual language of the sutra again, gunavritti, vidiyete, part of the adhyaharaha, tatra ikaha. Again, the ika here is actually part of the third sutra, asti, part of the adhyaharaha. So starting with iko gunavritti, we have the addition of anuvrittihi, gunaha vrittihi, of adhyaharaha, iti yatra vidiyete tatra asti, and we get the full expanded phrase, yatra gunaha vrittihi iti gunavritti vidiyete tatra ikaha asti. And we will leave it at that and come back tomorrow or the next video with the translation and the examples.